Render setting and keyboard shortcuts. What is a rendering? Rendering means taking your Cinema 4D output for different software or for a client. Rendering means your final output from a Cinema 4D. Now, how can we set render settings? Okay, you can click over here on this small icon over here, or you can press shortcut called Ctrl B to get this render setting display. Now here you can see the render setting is there. The first column is called a renderer. What is a renderer? Render is some kind of plugin, those who can improve our rendering dramatically. Something like a Maxwell renderer or V-Ray renderer. But right now we are working with only default renderer. So you can see over here, these are standard, physical, software, hardware or Cineman. Right now I'm working with a standard mode. Next thing is output. Output means what? In what size you want to take your Cinema 4D output for a different software or for a client. Here is a small icon over here. You can press that icon. You can see there's some preset over there, like a screen for websites, for films or video. These are different presets available inside Cinema 4D for cinema or film output. For a printing in portrait mode, you can see different sizes for printing, or you can go with a landscape print. There are different sizes for landscape printing. These are well-known presets for rendering in Cinema 4D. But if you want to create your own size or own preset, you can very easily create inside Cinema 4D render settings. See, right now there is a width and height option there. You can change it very easily, and you can see I'm customizing my output by using these width and height options. I go back to default one, is 800 by 600. Now I want to lock the width and height. See, when I drag a width, you can see there's no change in the height, but I want to lock them both. So what will I do? I just go and first reset it, and then I click over here, small icon called lock ratio. I just click on this tick mark, and now whenever I change the width or height, my other property will change according to that change. Okay, I reset it again. Okay, the next thing is a pixel. Okay, I'm rendering in a pixels. Okay, if I want to render it in a different unit, so I can click over here. You can see I can render it in a centimeter, millimeter, inches, point or picas. The different units available for a rendering, but right now I keep it as a pixel. Okay, the next thing is called resolution. What is a resolution? Resolution means in a per square pixel. Resolution means in per square inch how many pixels will be there for a printing or for the view. Right now it's set to 72, but for a high-end printing or high-end animation I can keep it around 300 or 600. It depends on your client requirement, so you can set it again default. We can set this according to our client requirement. Next thing is render region. If I don't want to render each and everything from my view, I just want to render some part from my view, that time I can use this render region option to customize my rendering or just shorten my rendering towards some point. This way I can control my rendering by using a render region. Next thing is a film aspect. What is a film aspect? There are different type of aspect ratios available for a rendering, like a square, a standard, HDTV, 35mm still, widescreen, 35mm animation video or Panavision. It depend again what your client required or what is your client requirement. That time you can change this according to your client need. Next thing is the pixel aspect ratio. Again, you can see this is customized. You can use a square, DV, NTSC, DV-PAL, something like this. It's again depend on your client requirement, so you can set according to your client requirement. Now next thing is a frame rate. Frame rate is called FPS, frame per second. On FPS your speed of animation depends, so you can set it according to your animation. Sometime I keep it as a 24, sometime I keep it as a 25 or 29.97 or 30 or 60. It depends again on your output quality or requirement of a client. Frame range. Right now I'm rendering from a start of this point till the end of this animation. I am rendering around 91 frame from 0 to 90. But if I don't want to render the entire sequence or entire animation, I just want to render some part of that animation, that time I can set it around from here. Like I want to render it from frame number 50 till frame number 80. Just type 8 over here. Yeah. Now I'm rendering 31 frame from my entire animation. This we can render particular part from the entire animation for a test purpose, for client upload purpose. You can set it according to your need, or you can go with the all frames or preview range or current frame, from the current frame to last frame. It depends on your need. Filled, even first or odd first. This is for television's purpose. If you want to show your animation or video, whatever you create in a Cinema 4D on a television, that time you can use this even first or odd first. Annotation. If you want to save some personal note with this rendering, you can type here in annotation. So you can save this personal note with the animation for other artist or for a client. Save. Now, where you want to save this output and in which format you want to save your output is depend on this save option. Save is for where I want to save my animation or video effects, whatever I create inside Cinema 4D. I have to save on different folder for my client or for my other softwares. So here you can click over here and you can set a output path where you want to save your output, which format you want to save your output. The different format available over here. You can see JPG, DPX, PNG, RPF, Targa, or video for AVI. Next thing, a depth of your output is depend. If you want to do some color correction on this output, you have to keep it around 16-bit or 32-bit for color correction purpose. If you want to show this video on YouTube, that time you can keep it as a 8-bit channel. Is depend on your output where you want to show it. A name of the output. If you want to sequence of the frame sequence, if you want to render frame sequence, that time you have to use this. The different type of presets over there. You can choose whatever you want. Next is alpha channel. If you want, next is image color profile. Next is image color profile. In which profile you want to save your output is depend again for other softwares. Like if you want to do some color correction, you have to save a color profile like other softwares where you want to edit this video or this animation movie. So it's depend again where you want to take your animation for final output. If you want to save a transparency information with your output, that time you have to tick this alpha channel option. And for smoothness of the animation, you can keep this 8-bit dithering on or include it sound. If you want to render a sound file with your animation or output, that time you have to keep this tick mark on. If you're going to open this file, you can see After Effects, Nuke, Motion, Shake or Digital Fusion. You can directly jump from this Cinema 4D layout or interface to directly other compositing software like After Effects, Nuke, Motion, Shake or Digital Fusion. Multipass option. If you want to render your output in a layers like a shadow, reflection, refraction, specular, that time you can use this multipass option. Here some multipass given by Cinema 4D, ambient, diffuse, shadow, reflection, reflection. For final compositing, we normally use layers for a better result. So you can manipulate these layers inside compositing software and improve our output dramatically. Anti-aliasing is for smoothness of your objects or your animation. You can keep it like a geometry or best. Best is the best option. So you can keep it best for good result. Options, if you don't want to render a transparency, refraction, reflection, shadow, you can remove this tick mark. What kind of passes or layers you want to render with this file, you can adjust that all things by using this option. In stereoscopic option, stereoscopy is normally used for create a 3D movie, 3D stereoscopic movie. So if you want to create some 3D stereoscopic movie, you have to keep these things on. But for that, you have to render two output, one for left eye, one for right eye, and then you have to composite that in different software, compositing software for a final output. The different type of stereoscopic mode available here. You can go with the anaglyph or side by side or interlace options. If you using a big network of computers for rendering, that time you can use this team render. By using a big network or more than one PC for a rendering, you can improve your rendering by using a team render. It's something like a network rendering, but you have to first set the all things like a one manager, host PC and other slaves or guest PCs. Those can help to improve your rendering or fasten your rendering. These all setting done by using a team render or team render settings option from the plugin option. If you want to render your output with some pre-adjusted effects, that time you can go over here inside effect option and you can add some caustic effect or global illumination effect or glow or filters effects, sketch and tune effect by using these presets. If you want to use this render setting again and again, it's better to save that for future use. You can save your render setting by using this render setting option. You can save this render setting by using this render setting option for your future use. See here, you can save or new. You can create your own render setting preset for future use.